assets of $1,774,240.78. Current liabilities of 2011-64 for this time period. Income of $66,028.19. With expenses of $114. The expenses for the.
Should be 100, not a million.
Yeah, okay, we'll go with maybe $114,941.80.
All right.
I make a motion to approve as read. To pay the bills, that'd be ordinance. So,
Forgot. Too much paperwork. Wow.
and there's no communication. Don't see anything on the staff reports. That brings us to fire marshal this week.
For the month of May, there was one building permit issued. No fees were charged on that permit. It's from the city of Hillsborough and the water tower. There were 3 permits issued for fireworks stands. Total fees charged were in the amount of $7,300. Total fees collected in the same amount, $7,300. We're actually gonna have a 4th stand this year here in town up at Cautious, so we just got check for that in, so that'll be on next month's fire marshal report. But some conglomerate named Jake's Fireworks, they're pretty big, evidently. They're out of Kansas or something like that. So. Oh.
Fire chief's report.
All right, we had another very busy month in May with 133 calls for service. I don't know if I can speak on behalf of everybody, but we're getting a little tired of tornadoes and severe storm. They not hit the city of Hillsborough proper, so far so good with that, and we'll see how things go with the rest of the spring. But everybody's doing a great job, and we're getting good at handling tornadoes, so that's a good thing for sure. Unfortunately, we look at everything overall. I want to send out an ad. May 24th, Station 2 recently took over CPR from the bystanders, placed the patient on the AD. 2 shocks were delivered and they got return of circulation after there's 2 shocks. Patient is alive and well today. Just found out he's in cardiac rehab over in, I guess, Mercy Jeff. So kudos to Captain March and firefighter medic Eli Tucker over there. So they did a phenomenal job, and it's a true testament to having Station 2 stay up 24/7. So life is here today because of it. So awesome job, fellas.
Yeah.
All right, grant updates. Jefferson Foundation grant. We were denied for EMS bags. But we're gonna reapply for that, and that comes out again in the fall, correct?
No, I emailed it to you.
Oh, it came out today, this summer, I'm sorry. That was the winter one that we were denied for. So we're applying again now for new EMS bags, which will be awarded in the fall. So sorry, I had that backwards. AFG grant, it does appear that for now they have started to award AFG grants again. We have received a few questions from FEMA regarding this grant, so maybe we're gonna get an award of it, I don't know. We'll kind of see how that pans out here over the next couple of weeks and see what happens with all of that. The downside to that is it appears, it was announced today that FEMA is going away after the first of the year, or after this hurricane season, however they put it. Nobody knows what that means. Nobody knows what's going to happen with that grant funding, but right now, all that grant funding is funneled through Department of Homeland Security, which is then funneled to FEMA, which is given out to fire departments. So that funding mechanism is probably, this could potentially be it for that funding mechanism. We'll see. There's no telling what's going on with that at all. Policy update is continuing. Just not at the pace that I would like. We will get all that done. And to you guys, and I have an update on the stoplight. Ladder truck, I don't have any new update from the last board meeting, 11/26 of 2025. It is slated to be delivered. However, there are portions of Suffolk that have gone on strike, some of their plant manufacturers, so I don't know how that's going to affect this. So far, they say it's not going to, but they're pulling people from one plants to other plants because half their plants are unionized, half of them are not. So I can't imagine at some point that a strike won't cause some sort of a delay, no matter if it's not at the plant that our truck's getting built at with the way they're shuffling people around. So we'll have to see how that goes. Updates under the facilities will be under old business. The new 6560 is complete. Crews are finishing up drivers training on it and will be in service very soon. We ordered 10 gallons of foam, which I got a phone call this afternoon that it was in, so we need to go over to Cedar Hill and pick it up. It does have what's called a CAF system on that truck, compressed air foam system, so we'll start training on that and how to use that now that the foam's in. So I have heard nothing from Border Construction on the foundation repair here at Station 1. We'll talk more about that in our new business. I have notified SMCI that we are ready to remove the HVAC equipment for over here, but we'll talk about it in our new business too. You guys all know that we had to replace the HVAC system out of house too, so that took precedence. He got that done. Now he's working on getting a schedule to come out and take all of this stuff down here at house one. But kudos to SMCI. They were out here the next day getting everything installed, ready to roll before any hot weather hits. So that worked out pretty good. I did call Connor Mann from Mann's Plumbing. He's going to come out and move the drain line for the ice machine, because the ice machine is going to have to be moved, and the one left is to drain directly outside. So he's going to run it basically through that bathroom wall, hit the main stack, and drain it correctly into the main stack as opposed to outside. That'll solve our freezing issue that we have every winter too. So that drain will be rendered useless in the winter time, and it'll be taken out of service. So we as some of you know, I know Matt especially knows, the Civic Club has given us a permanent room in the old community building up there. They are doing some minor remodeling up there. The old finance room, if you're familiar with that, they tore the wall out between that, made that one room bigger. They walled it off again, made it a little bit smaller, which is going to allow us to use that area as a emergency operations center moving forward. I'll show you guys some pictures on the phone afterwards, but going to turn out really nice for running all the event stuff that we do up there. It can even be used in the event of a real true emergency out here as an emergency operations center. So worked out really, really good. Thank you to the Civic Club, and we appreciate everything and everybody that has helped out with that. The IT projects approved are in motion. 2 computers have already been replaced that needed to be replaced. The phone system install is set to take place on the 24th of June. And then at some point after that, the switch over to the server will happen. Talked about the issue with 6516 and everything being drilled through the back of the cab. That has been fixed. Wireless USA sent us a check and reimbursed us for the damage for that. So that's been taken care of. Yeah, it was. Not really sure what it does, but they're replacing and it's working. So 65 groundish, cause a siren to kind of go in and out intermittently. Crews are training as always. We've been participating in training with several other departments going over the ins and outs of the large custom buses. Nothing really new under fire prevention stuff. We're continuing on with all of our events for the summer. Questions?
Shop through report.
No.
Old business. 8-1 annex.
I have we need to approve. Email that all to you. I apologize. They're on there. This is from Steve Bacon. This is to basically contract with Steve to contract with the MEP people, the mechanical engineering and plumbing people, finalize the remodel for that building. So that is, there was two ways of doing it. We personally could contract with him, or just amend the agreement with Steve Bacon and have him contract with them, which I rather him oversee them. I don't know enough about any of that to manage those people. So the first discipline for mechanicals, $2,900. Second discipline for electricals, $2,300. Plumbing, $1,900. Any additional costs, $160 an hour. So this brings the total roughly to, it's less than $10,000, $9,000 some odd dollars to get all that taken care of. I like Steve proceeding back.
Or motion for that?
Yes.
Second.
New business, Senate Bill number 3.
One gentleman.
Yeah.
I don't know if you got a chance to read the research paper that I have developed and the numbers that I have learned, if you're not familiar. Friday night at 2 a.m, Senate Bill 3 was passed. On that bill is a deal for the Kansas City Chiefs in the Royal Stadium, keep them in the state of Missouri. $100 million for disaster relief to St. Louis area for the tornadoes, and a freeze at the 2024 levels of your real estate taxes for everybody in the state of Missouri moving forward. What that equates to basically, and I'll make it simple, by 2040, we are at a almost $600,000 budget deficit, and that's not even budget deficit, that's income deficit compared to what we are now, and that's about $4.2 million out of our pocket between now and then. They snuck it by on a bill that no senator or representative in their right mind, some did, vote no for, because it is attached to tornado relief for the St. Louis area. It's attached to jobs on the KC area. So they screwed us royally. I spent the weekend on the phone with some politicians and other leaders trying to kind of figure out what the next move is. I was on the phone yesterday for about an hour with Paul Bessels, the union president for this area. Everybody's in agreement that it is not a constitutional law, and they specifically added what's called a severability clause in that bill meaning you can strike down in a court of law certain portions of that bill because they knew that it was not constitutional. If it affects the Hillsborough Fire District to the tune of $500,000 budget shortfall or income deficit, you're in the millions for schools.
Mhm.
So this is going to equate to numerous job losses in the public sector across the state of Missouri. 30 to 40 kids in a classroom because they can't afford to pay teachers. That's a good thing. This is the ingenious part about our state government. They froze real estate taxes, so it can never go up from 2024 levels, but mandatory the school to give teachers a 3% raise every single year. So that's in all their infinite wisdom moving forward. Sailed through the Senate, passed just this afternoon. It sailed through the House of Representatives and passed. It is on the way to the governor. He is going to sign it. So it is going to become law. We're in trouble. Big time trouble. Come 2027, after this passes the vote of the people, because it will pass the vote of the people, we're going to, in 2027, start off by losing about $100,000. And then it cascades down from there. Obviously, our income does this, our expenses continue to do that. So you've got that unbalanced expense curve to where there is budget deficits moving forward. Currently, we try to budget about $300,000 to put aside in the capital reserve payments, but we're getting ready to dedicate half of that to, more than half of that probably, to the building remodel, the fire truck. But we are all pretty confident that the NEA, a lot of the unions are going to come out pretty hardcore against this bill for what it does to their numbers. Now, with that being said, I was disappointed to see the Missouri AFL-CIO come out in favor of the bill, which kind of, in my opinion, crapped on the rest of the unions across the state of Missouri. But I understand they're supporting their people on the west side of the state. But the trickle-down effect that people aren't understanding, and I'm going to use, Bob, you've got insight into SMCI. How much school business did SMCI do? There's not going to be any school. There's no money to school. So this is going to trickle down and just absolutely devastate the Missouri's economy in the long run. And that's what the people don't understand. Local governments are our people, our jobs. We're putting back into the local community. So tax dollars aren't going to waste. That's where we're at.
This is also on real estate itself, or
Just real estate.
just real estate?
So in those numbers that I gave you, it does include,
Saw that.
it includes an increase in the other category. But our bread and butter is real estate taxes. That's where the vast percentage of our income comes from. Now, with that being said, they did this year pass the ability for us as a fire district to go for the Wayfair tax and go from a 0.5% sales tax to a 1% sales tax. So that provision is in there, which me and Jason ran some numbers earlier. It's not by any means an end-all solution, but it definitely bridges the gap.
Slows the bleed.
It slows the bleed a little bit. We're in a tough spot. We're in trouble. I am sounding the alarm. If this does not get overturned, we're in trouble. And there's going to have to be some quick thinking and quick decisions made over the next few months as to how this gets fought. Be it a united front with all the public entities to protect each other, make sure we can. Very tough spot here. Thought for
Well, you don't see that information on the news.
Of course you don't,
No.
and you won't. And everybody thinks, oh, great, taxes aren't going up. Well, your taxes aren't going up, you're right. But when House Two gets shut down and all the trucks get sold out of there to meet payroll. And your homeowner's insurance triples. That $200 savings that you are realizing over the course of the next 15 years from this ain't gonna look so pretty when you just are paying $8,000 a year for homeowner's insurance. It's a big issue and a big problem.
Well, what we can really do is.
Well, we have to
Start
begin,
complaining to people.
we have to begin to strategize how we can defeat this,
Right.
get this, get to the bug. That's what has to happen right now. That's the next step.
I'm sure there'll be some lawsuits that'll be initiated and.
They have to be party to those.
Right.
They may be mass lawsuits and things like that, and
You know, he's been, or anything, also,
I'm sorry.
but also like, they're gonna work on something.
I mean,
Well, no.
it doesn't affect them, but it affects their members.
Yeah,
It's gonna have to be the individual
the park,
departments that unify with other entities
whatever
to go after. I mean, it's the same plan that everybody has. It's not constitutional. But guess what? We're the ones getting screwed by it. That's our insight. There's people at the Supreme Court level that gets to make that hard decisions,
they got.
whether it's a constitutional law or not. Like I said in there too, I don't know if you guys pulled up the map. I didn't attach the map. There are 22 counties that are set at what's called the 0% counties, to where they can't grow at all. The vast majority of the rest of the state is 5%, so they're allowed to grow 5% or the CPI, whichever is the lowest. Which, this is how dumb our politicians are. They already have the Hancock Amendment in place to do that. So, and then there is a bunch of counties that aren't even affected. The law stays the same as it is now. St. Louis County wasn't affected at all. Several counties in the Kansas City metro area weren't affected at all. And then, like the entire midsection of the state, Lake of the Ozarks and all that, not affected one bit by this law. You can thank Mary Elizabeth Coleman for this. She is the one that got Jefferson County at the 0% range on the bill. So it's undoubtedly special legislation. It's undoubtedly an unfunded mandate. It's just it's ludicrous, but we cannot sit back and pretend that somebody else is going to take care of this problem. We're all going to have to be on the forefront to ensure that this is addressed and taken care of. I can tell you on the House level, Ken Waller voted no for the bill. Cecily Williams voted yes. I had a long conversation with Cecily. I understand her position and why she had to vote yes for it. So Phil Amato voted yes. He's in the north side of the county. So Ken's the only one that took a stand to vote no. That's where we're at, guys. Keep you updated and continue where we're at. I did send letters to all of our House reps on Friday. We found this out in an attempt to try to work things off. Never heard back from anybody but Cecily Williams called me. So,
Did you talk to John though to see what the school?
oh yeah, me and John. Well, and here's part of the problem, and I don't hold the same sentiment. The schools, though, they've been in battle with the legislators for years now, and some of them are to the point, yeah, you're gonna get what you voted for, folks. So, there will be a fight, there will be lawsuits, they will fight for it, but people are tired. It's nonsense in Jeff City that people keep voting for, I don't know. So it goes back to what's going on at the federal level as well too, so people are getting what they voted for. You know, it's gonna sign it too, it will be signed, he already said. It's gonna be signed. I did have a long conversation with Mitch as well too. So he's quite aware and we'll never stop fighting for the employees. Maybe time to take action, gentlemen, at some point.
What can we do at this point?
Vote the right people in office,
Yeah.
vote the same ones that promise that they're gonna take care of the dispute.
All right, keep us posted on everything else we can get right away.
Okay,
At the board, you know, whatever it takes.
okay, thank you, gentlemen.
All right, the MOCAT,
Yeah, we met with Paul Ziegler last week and kind of got some things rolling in the right direction. I kind of think when you guys approved MOCAT a couple of months ago, we kind of got lost in the mix. And we met with them, Julie sent them some information. They're gonna work on a cash flow analysis, which is almost kind of laughable at this point in time, because that may change drastically, but we would like to try to leverage the bank to see if they'll go with a higher interest rate and match MOCAT at the 4.2 to 4.3 interest rate. I don't think they're going to be able to. And if they can't, we'd like to move a vast majority of our reserve funds, things like that, over to MOCAT, try to get an extra half a percentage point in interest, excuse me. So we just wanted your blessing once we got that cash flow analysis back to get some of that done. Some of the reserve funds, and we'll bring all this back to you next month, that don't need to be spent right away, maybe laddered into some shorter term CDs. Because those short-term CDs right now are actually drawing a higher interest rate than your longer-term CDs, because nobody knows what's gonna happen to the interest rates tomorrow. And then some of it will be, they'll recommend a certain amount kept, I don't wanna necessarily say liquid, but in an account that we can get money out of within 24 hours. So.
in my opinion, see what the bank, what banks are doing, and we're not gonna benefit from that, and we should do something.
We're gonna maximize every bit of income we can.
Yes.
Do you want a motion for that? We already kind of talked about it.
Yeah, we kinda talked about it,
Okay. And now, 93, the resolution on the TIF reimbursement.
It is time to set our annual TIF reimbursement. This year should go a heck of a lot better than years past. A copy will get sent to Boyer's office. Another copy will get sent to the city of Hillsborough, who will certify that rate, send it to UMB, and then UMB will reimburse us for our portion of the TIF. For the upcoming, it'll be the 2025 taxes, so we'll it'll help a little bit money wise. So my recommendation is we stay at that 100% reimbursement rate as of right now.
All right, then make a motion that we approve the resolution 25.
I second that.
All in favor? Station foundation repair.
So. And Jason, you just correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, please. We have had 18.8 inches of rain since the beginning of March. We're not taking on nearly the water that we were a year ago.
No, that.
I don't know what has happened to why we're not taking on that water anymore. I don't know when Josh is gonna be here. I have not heard an update. It's been almost a year since we awarded that contract. See, during whatever, the switch on, tearing out the drywall and fixing the carpet and getting anything wet and moldy out of here instead of digging all the way down to the footings. What do you guys think on that?
I would try. Let's try it. Let's do it.
Okay.
Having concrete out so far. You know,
You could maybe even build a drain box or something that has a grate on it, drains, hits that one at the end of the.
if you concrete a little bit up in the parking spots, then they could just pave right to it, and then the concrete would never. I think you're all right. I'll get Paula. You won't. Not my language, but.
Yeah.
I don't know what Josh's deal is. That's
Crazy,
right.
a long time.
I'm good with that too. Why would you do that?
Should we reach out to one of those companies that was gonna install on the inside and do the work on the inside?
Yes.
We'll have to rebid it, but I'm okay with that. I think in light of everything going on, it is well worth the cost savings. Will help us finish up what capital projects we got going on now.
Right.
And then put the brakes on capital.
So when you take the drywall out, if you see any like major cracks or whatever, Eric Leonard can come and epoxy inject them.
Okay, okay,
It doesn't work.
Yeah.
okay.
Alright.
All right, we'll rework something up for the next board meeting.
Yeah.
And then just tell Josh. Or,
Yeah.
going a different direction. And I'll just blame it on the legislation, which truly that is, truly is part of it.
Something to think about here.
Okay. Station 2 repairs.
Yeah, I just wanted to get that on the minutes, if you guys approved it.
Credit card limit.
We have reached the point here over the past year or two. Especially after the tax increase and our, budget has increased. Well, we have maxed out our credit cards because we pay for just about every darn thing on the credit card. They're only set at $5,000 limits right now. So there's been many a times that I've had to call Jason, let me borrow your credit card. And I'm afraid something's gonna happen to where we're on call or we need something and our credit card's gonna be maxed out. So I'd like to ask the board permission to raise it from $5,000 to $10,000.
I'm fine with that motion.
Awesome.
Hey, Ross. Is there a closed session?
No.
All right, nothing else before the board, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.